So thank you again for joining us and learning more about celebrating APIDA heritages here at SDSU and talking about the importance of that. So let's get started. Again, I'm not Dr. Lohagan. My name is G. I'm an assistant coordinator at the APIDA Center. So I do she is my supervisor, but just to introduce her briefly, she is the executive director of the Office of Anapesia Affairs, as well as the APIDA Center. She is the inaugural director for both. She is also involved in many, many, many things, so including being a chair for the APIDA Employee Resource Group, and then many more. She's actually here right now, so I'm gonna pass along the stage and the microphone to her. Oh, never mind. There we go. I was just introducing you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we can keep going.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm having technical issues. I can't get into my computer
Okay.
or online, so apologies.
No worries. Okay. So we're gonna go over kind of a quick overview of the APIDA Center for those who are not familiar with us. We're the Asian Pacific Islander and Desi American Center. You do not have to be APIDA to engage in our space, to be a part of our programs. Our main, commitment is to increase and amplify the voice and visibility of our APIDA students, faculty, and staff. Everyone is welcome. Just know that all of our programs center the APIDA experiences and the APIDA voices. So as you can see, this is a glance of our programs, but for more information, the best way to stay connected with us is on Instagram and our newsletter. So those QR codes are here. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I think the rest of it will roll through, yeah. But we have a lovely brochure here. So there's a QR code. Go ahead and click on that if you want to see more. So you'll have this beautiful little brochure with some testimonies and more about what we do. And then, of course, here's our professional staff, and then our students. So we have, we are a diverse and unique community. So when talking about the different heritage celebrations, we're trying to cover a lot. So I always say that we're not going to do everything, but over time we'll do as much as we can. So there's that. So we have Rachel. You're there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I only see you. Are you the only one that's here?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have also Belen, Liz, Allison, and Todd.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was like, you don't need to be my single audience.
I wouldn't mind it.
But okay, so then we have a wide range of folks that we are is that why you did that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we are, I'll just click that. That's okay. Fine. So we're trying to make things work here at the APIDA Center, which we do. So it's like, we're on, okay. Anyways, I don't have to tell you about how the sausage is made, but we're going to make this work today. So we are not a monolith. We are not a minority, and we belong here. So these are inclusive norms that we believe in that address some of the prevailing myths and barriers that impact our community. And just to provide some insight into the scale that we do. We have religiously looked at our impact, and as you can see, it's like we host over 300 events a year. Over 10,000 attendees and visits and etc. So we are very proud of our efforts in this way. This is Belen. This should be very familiar to you. I grabbed, this is part of what we had submitted for Belen's work in terms of the new employees, but we have a lot of folks that don't know what an Anapesia is. So that's one thing that we try to do too, as we build our Anapesia, embrace our Anapesia status. But here are some terms to know. ANAPI is essentially a newer term that's being used, and it stands for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. These terms are interchangeable. API, ANAPI, APIDA. It just depends on your community. And our community, when we formed, had advocated for APIDA to be inclusive of our Pacific Islander and our Desi students as well. And APIDA is a federal designation. And serving this is essentially our big goal. It's like it's more than just looking at enrollment. It's looking at how we actually do serve our students. And we use that, right? Okay, so we use ANAPI and ANAPISI and APIDA to be as inclusive as possible. You could see that we're the Office of Anapaesi Affairs with the NH for Native Hawaiian, but Anapaesi, Native American Pacific Islander, includes Native Hawaiians. This is an older term, and that is the specific federal designation. So where we talk about the designation, we use Anapaesi with an A, but where in all other instances we use an H because that's the more accurate version, because most folks think when you think about Anapaesi that includes the Native American population, and does not. It refers specifically to the Native Hawaiian. Native Americans have a different federal designation than we do, so that's just things that folks get confused about. And then, the guidelines to be an Anapaesi are being accredited, having at least 10%. We have over 14, and 50% with financial aid. And then you can see our community here. We have 14%, 7% are Filipino, 5% are East and South Asian, 2% are Southeast Asian, and 0.5% Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander. When we are tracking down the numbers for faculty, staff, and administrators, but don't have that quite yet. You can also see that our numbers align with the San Diego community, which is at 18%. We have we're looking at an ecosystem of ANAPI resources on campus. So of course we have the Office of Anapaesi Affairs, which we launched last year, the APIDA Center, which launched in 2020, Asian American Studies Department, which launched in 2023, the Center for Asian and Pacific Studies, which has been around for, over 25 some years, the APIDA Employee Resource Group, which we launched about 6 years ago, by Hanihan Employee Resource Group, the APIDA Council of Student Organizations, which launched about 3-4 years ago. And then we currently have over 30 APIDA focused recognized student organizations. So we are a mighty team. And then, of course, we have a lot of Anapaesi programs, and we'll talk about, we'll give more information about that as well. So we have our residential learning community and our university seminar for our first year students, although transfer students will also do the university seminar as well. We have ALA stands for APIDA Leadership, Identity, Scholarship, and Togetherness. So these are our initiatives to work with the first year experience. We have our APIDA Student Leadership Retreats. We have research institutes and fellowships. We have presentations at professional conferences. We have our internships. Also, we work very closely with our Asian American Studies department. So we teach AAS 488, which is the applied AAS course. We also host mini student-led programs. We do community service. We have place-based field trips. And of course, Makers Market is one of our most successful annual events. Our campus resource fair in the fall, and our collectibles fair is a new one, but it was successful this year, so we'll continue it. And then our heritage celebrations, which we are here to talk about today. And then, of course, our excellent celebration, a graduation and end of year party at the end. We also we have new CSU funding. So we'll be launching our access program. So your folks will be hearing more about that. But just an overview of heritage celebrations. Heritage celebrations are designated periods, often months, that recognize and celebrate the history, culture, traditions, and contributions of various ethnic, cultural, and marginalized groups within a society. The goals are to foster understanding, empathy, inclusivity, and cultural awareness. Heritage celebrations provide a platform to educate the public and encourage dialogue. In many cases, communities fought hard to have a heritage celebration officially recognized. So I just wanted to point that out, that that it's for some communities that this has been a fight. The significance of these celebrations it's necessary because not all groups are represented or included in the mainstream. They combat marginalization and discrimination by creating spaces for learning, connecting, and empathy. They provide opportunities to reckon with historical injustices. They amplify the history, struggles, joys, achievements, and contributions of groups that have been historically marginalized. They allow individuals to connect with their own cultural roots, fostering self-awareness and cultural pride. They serve as vital opportunities to pass on cultural traditions, languages, and customs to future generations. What are some of the challenges? Is although we've leaned into the heritage celebrations too, but people's histories and cultures happen all year long, not just during these heritage months. So we want to, as much as possible, not in the attempt to demarginalize with heritage celebrations. We also don't want to marginalize by pigeonholing those celebrations to only certain days or months. Some heritage celebrations focus only on joy, which could water down or whitewash history and or minimize the struggle. So we want to avoid the heroes and holidays approach, where all we talk about are the heroes of the group or, various holidays. Some heritage celebrations have been co-opted by commercial interests. So we also want to look at the role capitalism plays in terms of appropriation and exploitation. And some heritage celebrations group vastly different cultures under a single identifier, neglecting distinct ethnic and cultural groups. Like, for example, with Lunar New Year's, not just Chinese. So several groups celebrate that, and we'll share more about how we have tried to be inclusive. So avoid tokenizing and stereotyping cultural groups. And then, of course, there's always going to be haters. When we send out the messages about heritage celebrations, we always get emails. We have folks that ask, why do we need this? Enough with these activities. These are real comments I've gotten, by the way. And what about a White History Month, right? So the argument there is that white is a racial distinction, but not a culture. Of course, it's a learning journey. That's how we see it. So we deal with our haters and hope that they can, are open to being on a journey with us as well. We have this is one of our students that participated in our Lunar New Year celebration, and she just sent an email to say how much she appreciated it. It said, I'll just read it. But over the winter break, I visited my family in Saigon, and when Lunar New Year happened here, I was feeling a bit homesick. I was really missing my culture because I had just been immersed in everything Tet related for a month. And I usually spend Lunar New Year with my family. However, this year I had to remain in San Diego and was feeling isolated. It was more significant to me than I thought. I had a really good time watching the performances and hosting the craft table, as it reminded me of the close-knit community I'd been with when I had visited my family. I was also able to speak to my family that night, and we were able to connect with each other more as I told them about how fun my day was. I felt a lot better after the event. Thank you for all the work you and your staff do to celebrate and educate us on Asian culture at SDSU. It means a lot. So again, it's and this was, of course, there's a lot of testimonies that we solicit, but this one was unsolicited. So it just shows how much these events mean to our students. So we have we celebrate a lot more than what I have here, but these are the main ones that we commit to. So you can see it here in the fall. Rachel had us present about the fall events, and so we're going to be talking about the spring ones here. So we'll go ahead and do that. So some of our spring heritage celebrations, the main ones, we're looking at Lunar New Year in February, which is coming up, Holy Festival, Chamorro History Month, Thai, Laotian, Cambodian New Year, Black April, and APIDA History and Heritage Month. And again, this doesn't mean that we don't do others, but these are the main ones that we've committed to. So for Lunar New Year, that is coming up on February 17th. We have a big party. This is always one of the highlights of the year as well. And so we invite everybody to come, tell your parents, tell your grandparents, tell your neighbors. So it's open to everybody. So please come. We'll have lion dancing, martial arts, activities, and Asian snacks, of course. The date changes every year. This year is February 17th, and it is the year of the fire horse, for those of you that didn't know that. There's the Chinese zodiac follows 12 animals. So each year is a different animal, and so this year is the fire horse. Lunar New Year is a festival celebrating the first new moon of the lunar solar calendar, the March survival of spring. Customs include family reunions, cleaning to remove bad luck, red decorations, fireworks, special meals, and more. It's the most important holiday for billions of people in China, Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, as well as the diaspora. It originated over 3,500 years ago in ancient China and is deeply rooted in agricultural traditions to mark the end of winter, to honor deities and ancestors, and to pray for a good harvest. So again, I think we're used to calling this Chinese New Year. We focus on Lunar New Year because it is more cultures than the Chinese celebrate this in different ways. There's lots of similarities, but different ways. So we have in the past we do tend to some recycle our really popular ones too, and then they come back and etc. But some examples of our past programs, we have Bo Bing, which is a Chinese dice game that is played. Gambling's in the Asian culture, gambling is part of the luck. So you do a lot of gambling in order to try to get lucky. Most of us are not, obviously, but it's still part of the festivity. So Bobing is a dice game, Chinese dice game. Bao Kwa Ka Cup, and I'm so sorry for mispronouncing. But that's a Vietnamese gambling game as well. We do red envelope making, Dong Ho folk art, which is really cool, and then paper lanterns, of course. So these are some of the past activities we've done. We've done more, but I just chose a few. This year, our Lunar New Year, obviously, because it's coming up, we have the most finalized events. So February 2nd, we did Mongolian felt art to celebrate Mongolian New Year. So again, these are ways that we're including different types of New Year celebrations so that we kind of cover as much as we can. On February 3rd, yesterday, we did Setsuban, which is the Japanese New Year, and it was so much fun. The students rolled their own tacos. Sorry, sushi. My God, wrong culture. But we had craft night. We're gonna on February 16th. We're gonna do a craft night with wall decorations. This is a traditional Vietnamese art, and then of course our Lunar New Year festival. And then February 17th, we have a partnership with SDOSU Dining, so we're going to host Lunar New Year at the Garden, and then we're going to have a craft night to make other wall decorations to celebrate the Tibetan New Year. And then we try to get as creative possible. On February 24th, we're actually doing a Lunar New Year themed Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. So calling all nerds. And then Holy Festival is coming up. So this year, Holy Festival will take place on March 4th, 2026. It is a multi-day festival, but the main one is March 4th. It is the Hindu Festival of Colors. It's a celebration to welcome spring and to honor the triumph of good over evil. It is deeply rooted in Hindu mythology, Holika and Prahlad, and the Radha and Krishna love story. It is primarily celebrated in India and Nepal, but is observed worldwide by the Indian diaspora. Some main customs include lighting huge bonfires, playing with colors, and in addition, there's music, dancing, and feasting, of course. In a lot of Asian cultures, everything is about food. So that's a common theme. So in the past, we've hosted Bollywood dancing. We've done a watch party from Hollywood to Bollywood. Again, played poker. Lassi is a traditional drink, so we've made that. We've made DIY chai tea bags. We've had a stand-up comic. We've done jute weaving. We did a community service, and we went to host a Holy Festival event at the Children's Center. And then we again work with dining to host a Holy Fest for the Garden. This year, we are going to do a craft night on Indian totar birds. I just realized we're doing a lot about wall decorations. So this is the traditional wall decoration. And then we're also going to do Rangoli coasters, which is one of our more popular events for Holi. And then we're going to come up with more. So that's why you see question mark pending. So we're, that's actively, we're working on it. For Mes Chamorro, which is a month-long celebration in March. It is celebrated in Guam to honor the indigenous Chamorro language, history, and culture. The first Monday of March is Guam History and Chamorro Heritage Day. So this is a public holiday in Guam and kicks off Mes Chamorro. We also talk about our relationship with Guam. With U.S. colonization and Guam being a territory and what that means. So these are also, we have to talk about those things too, not just the celebration part. But the shift from it's not a typo, so it's the shift from tomorrow to tomorrow with capital CH represents a deliberate, decades-long effort to decolonize the spelling of the indigenous people and language of the Mariana Islands. It moves away from a Spanish-imposed phonetically incorrect spelling, tomorrow, to one that aligns with the native language's rules and sounds. While tomorrow is often used in older official text, Chamorro with this capital CH is preferred by many educators and the Commission on Chamorro Language. It is a symbol of cultural pride and autonomy. So just, again, and we educate folks on that too. And we do it on purpose because we want folks to ask us, what does this mean? So there that is. But some examples, this is also one of our popular months too, but examples of past programs, we've done SPAM in Guam. We've had guest speakers. We've had a poet, a hip hop artist, a scholar. We hosted Chamorro Feast. We took a field trip to the Chamorro Cultural Festival. We've done a workshop on climate change in Guam and also jazz in Guam. I'm sorry, I see a typo already. We're not doing this in September. This will be March 2026. We are going to do a Spam Calaguan event, a DIY. It's so yummy. So definitely come. And then we're working on the significance of the Organic Act of 1950 and then doing a Chamorro language class. So these are some activities. We want to do at least one activity a month. A week during that month. We also have Thai, Laotian, Cambodian New Year. So Thai Laotian Cambodian New Year, or TLC New Year, is celebrated in mid-April. This year, it takes place from April 13th to the 15th. It's generally around that time, but sometimes it'll, be the 12th to the 14th, or, it'll change like that, but it's generally around that time. In Thailand, they call it Songkran. In Laos, they call it Pi Mai. And Cambodia is Chol Chunam Thamai. And again, please excuse my pronunciation. This is a water-focused festival marking the end of the dry season. It marks the sun's move into Aries, which symbolizes purification and the washing away of bad luck. Customs include gathering at temples, washing Buddha statues, and having street water fights and more. So we have some examples of past programs. We've done dragon boat racing. That was really fun. We totally lost. We competed against UCSD, and they actually have a dragon boat racing team, like they compete. So we did not do very well in our one-day event with them. We've also hosted Laotian dancing, workshops on Cambodian refugees in San Diego. We did a whole program on papaya salad. We like to get people to try different things, not just lumpia, not things that people know. So for many of our students, papaya salad was something I hadn't tried before. So we did a whole program about that. Cambodian rock music, and then a craft night on dream catchers. In April, we plan on continuing the papaya salad because it was delicious. I think that was just more, selfish, just because I want papaya salad. And then we're working on a Thai iced tea, and then the significance of Karama, the Cambodian, the Khmer scarf that has carried a lot of different symbols. And then, of course, we're going to celebrate, not celebrate, but we're going to commemorate Black April. For the Vietnamese diaspora, Black April is an annual day of reflection and mourning. It takes place on April 30th. It marks the fall of Saigon to communist forces on April 30th, 1975. This ended the Vietnam War and forced many South Vietnamese to flee to other parts of the world. It commemorates the loss of South Vietnam, the plight of the refugees, and the soldiers who fought in the war. So in the past, we've had a Black April celebration, discussion. This is a collab with VSA. We had a lecture on Vietnamese resettlement. We did a screening of Sea Drift and had one of the filmmakers, Dr. Tao Ha come. We had a craft night about the decorated paper lanterns. This year, we're going to do a screening of Finding the Virgo about a family that were part of the boat people, which were a wave of Vietnamese that had to flee by boat, and they found the Navy sea captain that saved them. So it's this whole really touching story, and we're also going to have the filmmaker come out. And then the screening of New Wave. G and I went to go see New Wave in Westminster. It is so awesome. You're gonna it's lots of catchy bops, as the students like to say. But it was really, that was we want after we saw that, we're like, our students have to see that. So we're bringing that over here as well. And then, of course, banh mi. So we did this in the past and we'll do it again. So it's the history, the colonial history of banh mi. So, we know that folks enjoy eating a banh mi sandwich, but, it also is influenced by French colonialism and then, reclamation, etc. So it's a symbol and we want to talk about it in that way. And then we'll have more. We just haven't gotten there yet. So APIDA Heritage and History Month, is celebrated in May. It honors the history, culture, and contributions of APIDA communities. It acknowledges their diverse backgrounds. May was selected because it commemorates the first Japanese immigrants that arrived on May 7th, 1843, and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad by Chinese laborers on May 10th, 1869. Some examples are, we've done programs on the importance of rice and then served rice and toppings. Club karaoke is always our most popular event. We'll actually move that. We're going to definitely do that. We do about 2 club karaoke's a semester, but we definitely do it during APIDA Heritage and History Month. We have a masala chai event, history of paper making, because did you know that paper comes from ancient China? So we also did a lesson on Samoan language, Asian courting rituals. That was fun. And then sashiko, a Japanese stitching tradition, and then took a field trip to various PI historical sites in San Diego, because people don't realize that we do have a connection. Like the founding father of Gaslamp, he is actually part Native Hawaiian. So May 2025 plans, we're going to do May 1st is Lay Day. So we're going to do some lays also to get ready for graduation. And then May 7th, we have our APIDA Excellence Celebration, which is always a good time. Come out. We have tons of activities. And then, of course, we're planning more. We're just not there yet. Okay, so some support strategies, and I'm gonna get through this so that we have plenty of time to ask questions. But we just ask folks to show up. So attend events and learn more. In order to receive credit, students and faculty and staff must participate from beginning to end. So be here on time and do not leave early. To honor the culture and to honor the presentations, we do close our events after it starts, because we really do want folks to be here the entire time. We don't want them to just partake in the eating of the banh mi and not learning about it. So they have to be engaged the whole time too. And then they can get a punch card and then win various swag prizes. And we have tons of swag. We also want folks to assume a learning mindset. So we don't know everything, but together we know a lot, and we're always learning, especially when it comes to people and cultures, as there are nuances, complications, etc. So it's important to value both scholarship and lived experiences. Storytelling is a huge part of the PITA culture. Additionally, intellectual work is necessary for deep understanding. So this is, we talk about this every presentation because this is really important to us. We've had folks, for example, for extra credit or various reasons, they come in, take a picture and then leave and try to get credit. So this is something that we've really hurts us, really. So we've pushed on. GL, have you talk about this?
So like Dr. Lahagan mentioned, we say this part of the presentation in every program that we host. We want to make sure students know the difference between appreciation and appropriation, right? Appreciation is when someone seeks to understand and learn about another culture in an effort to broaden their perspective and connect with others. Appropriation, on the other hand, is when someone takes one or more aspects of a culture without understanding what it truly means, and this is harmful and exploitative. Appropriation can be avoided by engaging in humble inquiry and practicing common courtesy. Historically, cultural exchange is the mutual sharing of ideas, practices, and traditions, and it is rooted in appreciation and is often a result of migration and trading. On the other hand, colonization is rooted in appropriation, and imposes new practices and or erases native practices. So through our programs at PITA Center, we want to promote appreciation, the preservation, and protection of our cultural heritages and traditions. So as such, it is important to know the historical and cultural significance. And thus, in order to participate in the workshop, we invite students, faculty, and staff to be here on time, to be present the entire time and engage in the intellectual work, because we want to, show a genuine interest to learn.
So we have, another strategy that we encourage folks to do is to give your students extra credit points for attending. We have a lot of folks that have come into our room because of the extra credit. But, again, if we ask for folks to lay out what the expectations are, that they need to be here and they need to be ready to learn. And then, program coordinators, same thing, encourage students to attend our programs as part of your programs. And then also book us to come to your class. We can present our programs in your classes as well. We'll provide the content, supplies, etc. So of course we work very closely with Asian American Studies. So we've been doing this. So we go in and there are certain topics that they want, and we'll provide that. So, but we're open to do that for all of our campus partners. Even if those of you that are not faculty, but you have trainings and whatnot, we're happy to support.